Live.
Hola Iris.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, Ana? Qué gusto verte otra vez. Ya te extrañaba. Hace mucho que no te veía.
Sí, sí. Tenemos una semana.
Una
1 week from seeing each other.
Ya sé, ya te extrañaba. ¿Cómo están todos, chicos televidentes? Ay, televidentes. Estamos en el show de Facebook Live de After Hours Real Estate. Para cualquier pregunta, lo vamos a hacer en inglés. Perdón. We're going to do this in English. We did the last one in Spanish. That way you can know that we are bilingual. So then any questions that you may have in English or in Spanish, we can serve both languages. So we are in After Hours Real Estate. So what are we trying to do? We try to give you information and try to educate you on real estate and on lending. So any questions that you may have, you can always send us a little message right now, or you can let us know before the show. And we have Ana Cabrales with us, which is an expert on mortgage. Hey,
Thank
say
you
hi.
for having me. Thank you for having me again. Happy to be here on Monday, another week. I have my drink already. Hope everybody has their drink.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
it's another cat cup.
Ah, no.
All my cups have cats.
Oh,
This
yeah,
one,
love it.
this one was a gift from another loan officer in the
Oh my
office.
God, it's so
Marla,
cute.
thank you for the cup, Marla.
Now I know what to give you. I'm looking for cat items for my friend, the cat lady.
Yes, the cat lady.
Yo también soy. I'm also a cat lady. Okay, so then, but Anna is always showing up with those awesome cups. I need to start getting some. I just have the same one. Boring.
Gotta change it up. Gotta change it up.
I know. Oops. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. We're looking at the comments right now. There you go. Oh, Juan, how are you, Juan? Thank you for watching. Juan is there. Let us know you have any questions. Okay, so what's going on in real estate and in lending? What happened last week? So anything that you want to let us know, any information?
I do have something to say. So I went to an event that was hosted for the teachers that are starting the school district, and I was invited. They had I guess, the convocation for the teachers, and there was a lot of vendors that had tables in the front, and vendors with pencils and candy and notebooks and flyers, and I see all these teachers with a little bag, and they're going table by table and grabbing free stuff and putting it in their bag, and then when they get to my table, I had a big banner, and then I had the tablecloth, and they see it and they see mortgage, and they all kind of like walked around my table, and I'm like, what's going on? It's like,
Oh my God. So
I
what's
feel, I feel like a dentist.
You're like, what's happening? So, the ones that are watching this show right now, what do you think is happening? What do you think, uh, clients, or let's say people in general, they kind of go around the mortgage stand? Do you think because you guys feel a little bit afraid, maybe you don't want to talk about financial, situations, or what's going on? This is just, it's good to know, right? How can we be ready in order to buy the house that we have in plan?
What's going on? This is just, it's good to know, right? What?
Or investments, right? So
Correct.
I don't know, we're having issues with audio. I don't know, you heard it twice, but let me know if any questions. Can you hear me correctly? Yes, right?
Yes, I was clicking on the Valerie put a comment, and I was clicking, and when I clicked, I guess he played the video, so that was my fault.
That's fine. No problem. But we can still, answer any questions that you may have. So,
So the way that I felt it is, I just feel like sometimes people are afraid to talk to a mortgage loan officer. I guess that they feel like we're gonna hassle them or haggle them and say, "Hey, come and apply and let's run your credit." And it's, at least my style. It's not like that. I always try to get to know that person, get to see what their goals are, explain what the requirements are, and then figure out if this is something that they still want to do. And then if they do want to apply, then we go through the application. Sometimes customers don't get approved, and I like to explain why they're not approved so that they can learn and move forward and hopefully buy a house in the future. But I feel like sometimes they're just scared to talk to a mortgage loan officer.
My goodness. Well, I feel the same way. Don't feel bad. Sometimes people attack to us about real estate, right? I mean, because they feel that we're going to be trying to sell something. But remember, I mean, everybody, friends that are looking at us, this is just information, right? No one is going to, I mean, actually force you, right, to commit or do something that you don't want to do. It's supposed to be relaxed and only when you are ready. Okay, and that's what we're doing this show. In case that you have questions, maybe we can answer them. Or if there's something specific that you want to know, you can let us know immediately, right? Ask us a question and we can talk about that topic. So in this case, I mean, Anna is letting us know, right, that that's what happened in the little what was it? Was it like
It's a teacher convocation in
convocation? So we go through that. So we're going to talk today about what it is that you need, okay, to be ready. I mean, to begin the process of purchasing a home. Okay, so then I know that there's 4 different areas, okay, that Anna is going to be letting us know. I mean, because she's the expert. Okay, so Anna, let us know what it is that they need to have in order to start the process.
So first we talk about, after we start the conversation, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to buy? Is it your first home? Is it an investment? We get the story. The things that we will look at first is their credit. Basically, we pull a credit report and make sure that they have not just the credit score, but also the things that report on the credit. We call it the 4 C's. I know sometimes people talk about the 5 C's of mortgage. So that would be the first one, credit. The next one that we look at is the cash, that they have the money to purchase a home. The down payment, either going to put the down payment themselves or they're going to get a gift from a family member, or they might get money from retirement account or something like that. So that's the second one, the cash. The third C is the collateral, the actual house that they're trying to buy. Does the house meet the requirements? Is the house in good condition? We of course don't want you to get into a house that is gonna be a lot of issues to you. So we check that the house meets the criteria, that the house doesn't have issues, the size of the land as compared to the house. So for example, if it's a house with 10 acres and the house is 500 square feet, that may be an issue because the investor may see it that the land can be used for other than just residential, maybe commercial or agricultural. We look at that. We also look at the zoning. Where is it zoned? Is it zoned residential or is it zoned next to like hazardous materials? Here in the Valley, we don't see it a lot, but I know that that's also part of something that we look into. So that's the third C, the collateral, the actual property. We also look into C, the character of the customer. So the character talks about like the story behind the customer. Where are they employed? Is their employment stable? Do they have savings? Do they keep saving? What are their habits? Do they pay on time? So it's basically encompasses the entire individual and their character. And then some companies talk about the fifth C, which a lot of companies don't do, but the fifth C is common sense. Sometimes we get a customer that it's iffy on credit or iffy on cash, but does it make sense? Does the file make sense? Can we do an exemption on the customer? Can we ask for a one-time forgiveness kind of thing? So if the story makes sense, we'll try to push for it and say, look, yes, the customer didn't save money, but this is why. Yes, the customer was late this month, but this is why. So if it makes sense, if there's common sense, then we'll try to push for it. Typically, those are the 5 C's that we look into. Okay. First, talking about their credit and their situation.
Now, let me ask you, Anna. I mean, go a little bit into each C, right? The C. Okay, so credit. So what score do they have to have in order to qualify for a loan? I guess that's a question they ask me all the time, right? So I know it applies to different loans. So then what can they expect, or what can you
So before COVID, the different loans had different requirements. Okay. But after COVID, for a year and a half now, VA, conventional, and FHA all require a 620 credit score.
Okay, VA, FHA 620. Okay, did you hear that? I know you are there because you're doing what you have to do. And if not, Anna can get you there. Okay, she will let you know what it is that you need to do. Because sometimes, I mean, it has happened to all of us, right? We have clients that are very ready, right, to buy a home, but the credit score is not at 620. So please don't feel discouraged. I mean, we have the solutions. That's why we do this. Okay, so we know what to do to put you in your dream home because that's our goal. That makes us happy. So then if you are in a situation where you are lower than 620, don't feel discouraged. We can get you there. We'll let you know, hey, do this, do that, maybe in 3 months, maybe in 4 months. It depends the situation, but we're going to get you in your dream home. Okay.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
I've actually had a lot of customers that are in that situation that their credit score is lower, and then I pull it, I see it, I analyze it, I tell them, okay, this is why. And usually if they follow our advice, they'll get to the credit scores that we need or higher. I mean, stuff happens. We know that it's gonna happen, so it just move forward. Like forget about it. Like don't be shy. Don't feel embarrassed. Just it happened. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Let's move forward. A lot of customers ask me, talking about credit, a lot of customers ask me, why is the credit score that you see different than the one that I see? And it's because a lot of customers, for example, see Credit Karma. Credit Karma is on the bottom. I believe it says for educational purposes only. Is not a real FICO score. I still recommend Credit Karma because you will see your trends. Is your credit going up? Is it going down? Did an account pop up that you weren't familiar with? It'll tell you your utilization, how much you're using of your credit. Are you high? Do you need to bring balances down? It also gives you recommendations. So it's very educational. So I still recommend Credit Karma. Okay. But in my experience, Credit Karma will be about 30 to 40 points higher than what I'll see.
How many points now again? How many points higher?
So like 30 to 40 points higher than what the mortgage will see. So usually if you see Credit Karma, maybe 670, that should be like a safe place to be. So that when I pull it, you're higher than the 620. Maybe you'll be in the 620 to 640 range.
Okay. Very important to know that. Okay, everybody, friends, because we usually think that this is what we see on the online. That's what we are, right? But it's very important that you talk to a professional. That way they can check on those things. It's kind of like the same thing as Zillow or the estimates on value on properties. That's not really what we go for. Okay. I know that it's very difficult to understand, but remember, when we're talking about real estate, it's more about what has sold around the area, right? I mean, in the last 6 months. And Sestimate is not really, I mean, looking into that. They only look at a computer algorithm. So it's kind of like maybe. Okay, so sometimes you can get even more money than what you see there. So talk to a professional anytime. Okay.
So that's a good example.
That's a good example. Okay, Anna. So just talk about credit. Okay, so Credit Karma is good, but it will be 30 to 40 points higher. Okay, so then it's not really, really bad to look at Credit Karma because it gives you other points.
Yeah.
Right? And we are talking about 620. So then don't feel discouraged, please. I mean, we can get you where you're supposed to be, and you need to talk to Anna. That way, Anna can tell you what to do. Okay, that's as far as credit, right? And then the cash, Anna, when they talk about cash, what do you mean by that?
So the cash is how much money they need for down payment, closing costs, and also prepaid items. So when you're going to close on a house, you're going to pay 3 things. The down payment, unless you're a veteran don't have down payment, but down payment, closing costs. The closing costs are the fees that you're paying to get this loan. So it's going to be like an appraisal, a survey on the property, the courthouse fees to record the documents to make sure that they become legal, a title company fee, which are like the attorneys that make sure that all the paperwork is legal, that there's no liens on the property, that all the title work gets changed from the previous owner to you. They will charge money also to check if it's in a flood area, or lender fees. So all that is closing costs. Besides closing costs, the buyer also needs to pay what's called prepaid items. Prepaid items are taxes and insurance that are paid in advance. When you close on your loan, you pay 1 full year of insurance. So your house, the day that you close, the insurance company that you selected gets paid in advance for 1 year. So all those three items are closing costs. And one of the biggest issues with closing costs, and I think it has to be in our area, is that a lot of people keep their money at home. They don't keep it in a bank account. So then when they apply, I tell them, oh, you're gonna need $7,000. And they're like, okay, yeah, I have 8,000. And I'm like, I'm looking at the bank account and I'm like, I only see that you have two. And they're like, oh, I have it at home.
Oh
In
my
that-
goodness. So
so
what
in
do they do? What can they do? I mean, is it all done or do they still have
in-
cash?
the money in the bank account needs to be sourced, meaning we need to know where it's coming from. And unfortunately, cash does not exist. We cannot source where it came from, even though the customer may tell me it's from previous paychecks that I cashed and I just kept at home. There's no way to prove that. So in that case, what they need to do is they need to season the money. They need to put the money in the bank, wait for it to season 30 days, and then come back and apply, or get somebody that can gift them the money. That way, it's in the donor's account, and we don't have to use the buyer's account. But that's a big issue here in the Valley. Most people, so keep your money in the bank. Make sure your direct deposit goes to your bank. The less transactions in the bank, like deposit wise, the easier it is. We don't care where you're going out to eat, where you're spending money. We don't look at that. We look at the deposits. What are you putting in? And making sure that you have enough money for the closing, where you would need to take the last day of closing to the title company.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so then no putting your money under the mattress, everybody.
No.
It's a joke, okay? So please try to deposit. I know it's so easy because I have a lot of clients that tell me, but I mean, I pay cash all the time, so I don't have a credit. So
Yeah.
we hear that a lot, right? So try my advice, and that's because I don't do lending, but that's what I do, right? Personally, I always say, get a credit card from Walmart, right? Get a credit card from, well, no, it doesn't matter. So when you go and buy food or you get gas, that we do that every day, everything is registered, right? And it helps you out. And then you make a payment right at the end of the month, so they see that you're good. So I know it's a lot easier to use cash, I understand. But if you're planning to invest, right, or you're planning to buy a home, upgrade, downgrade, or whatever it is that you want to do, make sure that you are not using cash, please. And don't leave the money in your home. Try to deposit. Okay, that way it can be a lot easier. And just tell the people from your work, right, to make those deposits directly to your bank, and that will be a lot easier. Okay,
Yes.
a lot easier for everybody. So
Yes, correct.
great. That's great. So then, okay, the credit and the cash. Okay, another question, Anna, that I don't know it happens to you, but it happens to me very often. How much is this house? No, the house is $150,000, and then they ask me, how much money do I need for down payment, right? So, what would you say about? I mean, do you have like a little idea? What can we answer? Because they always want to know. Okay, if the house is 150, if it is 200, can you tell me what is the down payment?
So for FHA, the down payment will be 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
So at a 150 would be 5,250.
Okay.
200 would be 7,000. So that's a down payment. The closing costs roughly are about, I would say, 5,000, 5,500 in a loan. All the closing cost fees are the same for a loan that's 50,000 or a loan that's 400,000. The lender fee is the same. The appraisal fee is usually the same. The courthouse fees are the same. The title fees, only the title policy changes. Everything else is the same. So typically only the title policy changes, and sometimes like the survey, the property is really large, but typically the same. So I would say 5,000 to 5,500, maybe 6,000 are closing costs. Besides that, you will need about $3,000, $2,000 to $3,000 for escrow, which are the prepaid taxes and insurance. So altogether,
Okay.
let's say that if you're paying 100% of down payment, closing costs, and escrows for a house of 150, and we don't like to do this. We don't like to quote like just without like checking stuff.
Yes.
But roughly, I would say about $12,000 to $13,000 would be the money that you need to close. Before like the interest rate got really low, sellers would help buyers with part of that, where the buyer only had to come in with a down payment. But right now the market is so I guess hectic. There's a lot of people buying. There's a lot of competition that are right now buyers are probably having to pay for the majority of that amount. So
Exactly. Exactly. Because now they're competing with highest and best offers because we do have houses, but we have an excess of buyers because of the low interest rates. So your offers, I mean, friends, have to be really aggressive. And in the past, we used to ask them to lower the price of the home, let's say $10,000 at least, right? And then we still ask them for seller concessions, at least 2,000 to 5,000, something around that area, depending on the condition of the home. But now, if you really want to be the one who gets this home, you cannot really ask for those concessions or lower the price because someone else is going to get the house, instead of you, because they're not asking them, I mean, to sell it for less. Because in reality, if they give you that money, okay, the seller concessions, and they lower the price, they're selling the house for at least $10,000 to $15,000 less. So right now, in order to win your home, you have to pay at least listing price, at least. That's if you're not competing. If you're competing with someone, we will ask you, try to give them a little more, okay? Whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. But I mean, that is great. And I mean, the information that you gave us. So then it will be safe to say, I know that, I mean, in the lending perspective, we don't like to give you a specific amount because it can be more or less. And this is what I tell my clients, personally, right? When they come and tell me, I'm a little bit afraid. I talked to whoever lender and they told me that I need $13,000. I mean, I'm afraid, right? I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to be ready, da, da, da. So one thing that you need to know is that in my experience, you don't need to have the money at once today. Okay, so usually you do, I mean, the process of buying a home will be 30 to 40, well, now it's going to be 45 days. No more 30 days how it used to be in the past. It's a little bit longer because our appraisers, they are taking, I mean, they're very busy right now. So they're taking a little bit longer. Okay, that's for you to know. But you have at least a month and a half, I mean, at least to put the money together. That's one. Another thing is they're not going to ask you for those 12,000 at once. So you're going to be paying, for example, Anna talked about closing costs, right? So you're going to be paying for inspections once you get into escrow, right? So that's some money that is, being deducted from the $12,000, right? And then you're going to be paying for appraisal. And then you're going to be paying for survey. But all of this is during the 30 to 45 days. So the only amount of money that you're going to need is going to be until closing time. And then remember, which I always tell my clients, they're going to give you credits. You're going to have credits for taxes, right? The taxes of the property or prorations on HOA if it is in a homeowner association. So you're going to get some credit. So then if that money they told you was 13,000, you probably are going to show up with, I don't know, it depends the price, but maybe 5,000, 6,000, 8,000. So don't feel too concerned about the 13,000 because I get that and a lot.
We also have a lot of discounts. Like veterans get discounts, police officers get discounts, border patrol, teachers, nurses, physicians assistants, EMTs get discounts, firefighters. So there's a lot of professions that get discounts. So that's also money that will be discounted and they can take advantage of it.
Did you hear that, everybody? Let's repeat this. VAs, firefighters, teachers, help me,
EMTs, nurses,
physicians
assistants.
Physician assistant. I have one that I hope she's still watching here.
And border patrol.
And border patrol. Do you hear that? So then that means that you will need less money because you do get a discount. So it's very important for you to keep in mind. And that's why we love to do these shows because a lot of this information, you don't do this for a living. I mean, we're the ones who do this for a living. So you don't know about this. But I mean, this is wonderful. Now, I just want to say something, right? I mean, talking about the discounts. Last year in November, right, we were blessed and my husband and I were able to buy a home. And guess who lent me the money? it was here, Ana Cabrales, our expert, right? She was wonderful with the process. So if any VAs are looking at us right now, and I know that some of you always have in their mind, I don't have the money, I mean, the down payment, the closing costs, you don't have money saved in order to buy a home, we can still make it happen. We can still help you out because there's a lot of help out there for VAs. Okay, so you can get your home. So give us a call, okay? If you have any questions, VAs. And what else I was gonna mention? Well, Anna was wonderful with a VA, and we were able to get the home that we wanted. We went a little bit, we did an upgrade, and we kind of like left the other house as a portfolio rental investment. So we're working on it. Okay, so we're happy.
Good.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much.
That's good. That's good. Keep growing your portfolio, girl.
I know. Everybody keep growing the portfolio, please.
Yes. That's retirement money in the future.
I know. So Anna was talking about credit, cash, collateral, character, and common sense. Those are the 5 things that we check in order for you to qualify to buy your loan. I mean, to buy your home. So right now we discuss credit and cash. Okay, so is there anything else, Anna, that is very important that we should know in order to prepare our future buyers to be ready, right? When they will call you or they want to, begin the purchase of a home.
I always tell them to treat like I'm on their side. I tell them like I'm on your side. I'm your attorney kind of person. Tell me everything. Don't let me discover things on my own.
Yes.
Don't hide stuff from me. Tell me, because that way I can prepare and create like a case for you. I can defend you basically. The more I know, the better. The more I know how to structure. I can prepare a situation or a rebuttal with the underwriter or something. I had a oil field worker. And I get the call sometimes telling me oil field workers they're not doing the loans for. The reason why some people don't want to do loans for oil field workers is just because they're very difficult loans. They're tedious. They take a lot of time. Why? Because these guys change employment from one job to another, and we have to verify that. And a lot of times when the customer calls and I say, okay, where are you working now? Here. How long? 2 weeks. Where were you before? In this company, how long? I think a month. Where before? They don't remember. So keep track of your employment, keep track of your information so that when you call us, you have everything available. If for whatever reason you don't have it, then at least have the W-2s or pay stubs so that you can kind of know the timeline. This oil field worker was denied because they told them that he had changed his job too many times and his job was not stable. Okay. So I was able to verify his employment for the last 2 years, and I made a case that yes, he had changed his employment over 4 times in the last 12 months, but that his employment was increasing and that he had better benefits. He was getting paid more per diem from one to another, and he was also getting closer to home. He was like further away in I think Michigan, and then he came to Oklahoma, and then to I think Port Aransas, and now Corpus. So I showed that he's getting closer to home. That's why he's changing. He's looking for benefit for his family.
Of course.
And I wrote a big letter explaining why he changed from one job to another. Went over with the customer. He was okay with it. He signed it. We submitted the file, and he got approved.
Wow, how exciting. Doesn't that feel wonderful, Anna, between you and I? When you're able to help someone that everybody had said no, right? Or when they were so excited about their home and you were able to make it happen.
Yes.
That's what I enjoy the most about our love. I mean,
and that's why, like, tell us everything, because we'll think, okay, I need to ask you this question. Why did this happen? Is this likely to happen again? And the more we know, the more we can prepare.
That is true. Everybody that is watching the show, let us know, right? I mean, sometimes, I understand that sometimes you talk to us first, which is the broker, the real estate broker, or the realtor, right? And sometimes you feel a little bit embarrassed, or you feel that you can tell us more things that you can tell your lender, right? So then let us know. I mean, sometimes that's our job here, to be mediators or buffers, right? And try to provide solutions. So that's what I do. So then you can tell me anytime, right, what is going on. And if you don't feel comfortable, we can always talk to Ana and let her know, look, this is what's happening. And then once you feel comfortable, you can now discuss with details, right? I mean, with them, because remember, the only thing we want is for you to be able to get the house that you want. And we
Right.
need to know this. Please don't feel, I mean, embarrassed or anything like that. We just need to know in order to find that right strategy to get you to your new home.
Yeah,
Okay?
I have customers that tell me, I don't think I'm gonna qualify because I spoke to somebody, my coworker or my parent or my uncle, and I'm like, look, when you have a two-day, you go with a dentist. If you need to do your tax returns, you go with an accountant. If you have legal issues, you go with a lawyer. So if you have questions about a mortgage, come to me. I'm licensed. In order for me to get a license, I took an exam. They run my credit, they run my fingerprints, they run my background check. I'm like, I go through a lengthy process to get approved, plus all the studies that we have to do. So like not because somebody's a homeowner, they bought one house and maybe they bought the house in 2008. Those rules don't apply anymore. Things have changed. So always talk to a professional.
Yes, definitely. Don't believe what your tío said, tu tía, mi amiga. Please don't. They don't do that for living. And maybe their situation was different. Remember, everybody has different situations, different finances, and the industry of lending and in real estate, I mean, the rules continue changing. There's different loans, I mean, different rules. I mean, it might not be how it was in the past. So yeah, definitely talk to a professional. That is very important.
I always tell them like if like my Theo is saying this, okay, let's put your Theo on the phone, let's put you on the phone, let's talk all three. I don't want to say, oh, your Theo is wrong. No, because I mean he has some experience and we have to take that into consideration. But maybe he just doesn't have the correct information anymore. So I always say, I always encourage, okay, if you don't feel comfortable making a big decision on yourself, bring somebody else, bring a family member that you think can help you make that decision. I'm there to help you make the decision, but if you feel more comfortable with a family member, they're welcome.
Exactly. You can always do that. Definitely. And also, one thing that I wanted to mention, sometimes I've received phone calls, right, from clients that tells me, but I already talked to another lender or maybe one or two. They say, and I don't qualify, right? I can't. And it's not necessarily true. Okay, let me tell you. I mean, because you need to allow us, I mean, give us the information. All different lenders have different programs, right? And we know where to send you. Okay, that's why we provide solutions, right? We need to be the solution for you. So then don't get discouraged because someone said no. I'm pretty sure, right? We're gonna find someone who can make it happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
get a second opinion.
Yes.
Like the bigger banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, they usually strict. They're more strict than a mortgage company, so they
Yes.
usually will have higher guidelines for credit or debt to income. So they're gonna be different than a mortgage company. So and then one mortgage company to another, we have what's called overlays, meaning these are things that we just can't do, we can't afford, so we add extra like guidelines. So
Yes.
one mortgage company may be different, so always if you don't get approved by one, maybe try to get a second opinion.
Definitely. And Nana just mentioned something really important, the situation with the banks. I mean, we understand that sometimes a lot of my clients say, I'm going to be using an example, Chase, right? Because that's where I have all my bank accounts, right? I've been having banking with them for years. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to give you the best terms or the best interest rate or you're going to qualify for a certain loan. I mean, that doesn't mean anything for a bank. I mean, that's one thing that you need to know. The other thing is they're not experts on mortgages. Okay, they do all kinds of lending, right? I mean, but that's not really what they do. I mean, if you go with a mortgage officer, okay, it will be a lot faster. I always tell them, right? They're going to give you a lot more options. We're going to be able to make it happen for you quicker. And they have a lot of different programs where you can qualify and it can be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is important for you to know. Very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always tell my customers, the way that I see a bank is that they usually work 8 to 5,
Yes.
And I'm like, us in mortgage, we're working all the time. We don't get paid unless you're closed. So we're gonna keep working until we get it done. We're local, so I think that's very important. We know the community, we know the realtors, the title companies, the inspectors. We can pick up a phone and check in what's going on, appraisers, and so we understand what's going on. Even the houses sometimes it's like, oh, I know where that house is located. Oh, I know that house has an HOA. I better look it up. I better disclose it. I know that house, it's in a flood zone. Let me ask for it already. So since we're here, it's easier for us to know or to structure the loans and to get things moving faster than a bank. They're usually slower.
Now, Anna just mentioned something that I always like to mention in the show, which I'm going to mention now. We love, okay, to support local businesses. She just mentioned right now, we are local, okay? So please support small businesses. Now, another very important part is it is owned by females, women-owned business, very important. Please help everybody out, right? I mean, after the pandemic and even before, right? I mean, we do need to support each other. All of those businesses that open up, don't go to franchises. O sea, try to go to local businesses. So Cabrales Mortgage is a local business. They're doing wonderful. Okay, so give us a call. I mean, they're local and they know the market. Okay, so remember that.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. So we were in credit cash, now collateral. So what about that, Anna?
So the collateral is the house. So we'll look at the house. We'll make sure that for example, the title on the house is clear, that the seller doesn't have liens. We'll look at the survey, make sure that it's not encroaching, that you have access to the house. For example, if there's a long driveway and it belongs to somebody else, that you have access. If it's a duplex or a townhouse, sometimes they're attached to other units, will look like that there's a firewall between units. So there's a lot of things that we look at. Also, the condition of the house. Make sure that it's inhabitable, that it has running water, electricity. The windows are working. They may be very old, but at least they're working. Stuff can be old and outdated. That's okay, as long as it's in working condition. Working kitchen, working bathroom. So we look into all that, making sure that you're buying a sound investment, that the house is worth what you're paying, and that you just have all the information. Ultimately, you make the decision, but we, as a lender, also have to make sure that if we're lending the money, that the house is worth what we're paying. So that's collateral.
Yes, remember, friends, when she talks about collateral, when you get into escrow into one property, we do inspections, okay? So we have 10 days to do termination option, which means you're gonna send one general inspector and the termite inspector. So then we will know, okay, what is the condition of the home before you proceed, right? That's what she's talking about, that the property has to be in good condition, right? For example, wood rot, we know that we need to take care of that, right? We know that termite already has to be, I mean, in place. I mean, those are things that we can't. And of course, any major items. When you're buying a resale property, we're looking into not cosmetic, like little, and the paints, stuff like that. We don't look into that. We mainly look on the roof, AC, electrical, plumbing, structure, okay, and foundation. Of course, wood rot and termite. So then you'll be protected, though. I mean, you'll know. So collateral is gonna be fine because we're gonna negotiate those repairs with the owner, and if he agrees and you agree, you feel comfortable, we will proceed.
Correct.
Well, that's wonderful, Lana. So, do you want to talk about the next 2 points, or do we leave them for the next show? It's up to you.
Yay. Well, like common sense, I kind of already spoke about it.
Yes.
We'll try to make sense of the file. If it makes sense, we'll push for it. We'll push it, and we'll set up meetings with management and say, hey, this file doesn't meet this criteria. Can I get an exemption because of this and this and this? And a lot of times they do give us exemptions because they see the stuff through our eyes. I have a quick example. I had a lady that had sold a house and was buying a new house. she got denied by Bank of America. She called me and she says, I got referred to you by my lender. She said, my realtor, she said, to give you a try. I run her credit. She had late payments on her mortgage before she sold it or after she sold it. So I asked her, when did you sell the property? Send me the document. She sent it to me. She had sold it in May, but the mortgage kept reporting her late June and July, 2 more months.
Oh my goodness.
So Bank of America automatically, per guideline, you have to deny the loan. Well, but then I told her, if you sold the property, why did they kept marking you late if you had sold it? And she's like, I don't understand this. Can you talk to the attorney? So I called the title company and I said, can you tell me more? When did you pay off her mortgage? And it's a local title company. I know people. I had the consent from the bar to talk to them. So they told me, Ana, we sent payment. They returned it. And then because it was off like $1, then we send the new $1 and then they're like, oh, it's no longer $1, now it's $5. So then we send the payment and it was snail mail. So she's like, by the time everything got fixed, it was 2 months later. And that's when her mortgage was paid off. But her mortgage kept reporting her late. So I went to management. I said, look, this lady has good credit. She does have late payments, 60-day late payments, but it wasn't her fault. And they approved it. They said, it makes sense. I mean, it wasn't her fault. It was issued between title company and her previous lender. They should have not have reported her late. They did, but it's still okay. So we make common sense of the file.
Did you hear that, everybody? So then she was denied with Bank of America, right? So then, because, it was a little bit more work that, the lender had to do. And, okay, they follow the guidelines. But if you go local, we're going to be able to find a solution for you, right? I mean, that was wonderful. So she was able to get her house, right?
Correct. She bought her house.
Yeah, yay. Awesome. So that was common sense. And character, what do you think?
I'll go quickly. Character is, does the customer fit the profile? Are they saving the money? Are they doing what they're telling me? A red flag in character is a customer that will call me and say, Ana, I really, really need to get into the house this month because I'm going to be evicted from my apartment. I need a house. And that's a big red flag. If you can't make the rent, are you going to pay the mortgage? Or customers that tell me, I need to get the house this month because they're going to repo my car next month and my credit is going to drop. So that's character. Are there any red flags in what they're telling us that we should just look into? And does the profile fit the entire, all the documentation that we have?
Well, of course. So they're not lying, people. They're going to find out anyway. So try to do all of this in good faith. I know you do, but sometimes we don't want to talk about certain things. But like we said earlier, right? I mean, we're here to find a solution for you to make it happen. So let us know immediately, right? Since the beginning, this is what may come up. And we will find some way to lend you the money and get you in the house that you really want. Yay. That is awesome. Thank you so much for being in today's show, After Hours Real Estate. I really appreciate all the information that you gave to all of our friends here that are thinking or maybe in the fence about buying. They might be there, but they might be, waiting for the right moment. And I hope this can help you, right? I mean, make the decision. Now, another thing important to know. You might not be ready now in this moment, but it's important for you to begin the process. What do I mean by that? Get knowledgeable, right? Call, ask questions, begin, because Ana will be able to qualify you and tell you what it is that you need to do, right? So once we know that you qualify for a certain amount of money, that's when I enter into the picture, right? And I start showing you all properties that are available within that price range for you, right? But what I do is negotiations. But I mean, really, Ana, we need that letter because especially with the situation with the COVID right now, right? There's a lot of sellers out there that are really picky in the sense that I want to make sure that they have the money in order for me to allow, the showing. So sometimes they ask us for that pre-approval letter. So they want to make sure that they will let you in. They're going to take a risk, right? Because we need to wear the mask, wash your hands, the whole the whole guidelines, right? But they want to make sure that you have the money. I mean, and I understand, right? I mean, I understand we need to protect each other, right? We're a community, we love each other, and we need to stop getting contagious, right? With
Yeah.
one with each other. So that is important. And that's why we always tell you, get your pre-approval letter first. Because we don't know what to show you. We don't know in what price range. And some sellers will require that. Plus, remember, if you like that house, you need to make an offer, right? So the only way to make an offer is with that pre-approval letter. So it's very important. That way they can know that you're serious, that you have the money, and they will take your offer seriously, right? Because if you just say, I do qualify, I mean, how can we prove that? I mean, there's no way to prove that you do have the money. So you can end up losing the house. And we don't want that. Okay?
No, we don't want that at all.
No, not at all. So
No.
let us know. We're about to leave now. We stay a little bit longer, but we really enjoyed this conversation. We are about to say bye-bye. We'll see you next Monday. And if you have any questions, you can find Ana in Facebook and Instagram. Just
Yes.
send her a message and ask her, hey, I don't know, any questions that you may have, or if you want us to discuss a specific topic following Monday at 5, you let us know. I mean, we have these questions and we can talk about it and give you all the answers that you may have. And you know where to find me everywhere, social media, okay, Instagram, Facebook, same way. Okay, so let us know. And thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you and make it a great home selling and buying day.
Thank you, Iris.
Thank you, Ana. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you soon.
See you soon, Ana. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.